A thrift store is something that has everything, so it can pretty much be everything. A thrift store is more than just going to a place and picking up a couple things. It's a way for you to kind of see what your community is looking like in a small box.
I like the notion of another man's trash is another man's treasure. Um, I definitely like that it matches my style a lot of kind of like baggier clothes and a lot of interesting shirts to say the least. It's all super cheap. I can buy so many clothes for like $20, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I think it's very important that everybody is able to afford clothing items and not just, people that have money, but I do come from a low income family. My mom is Hispanic, well, my family's Hispanic. So money has always been an issue. And when I found out about thrift stores, it was just like very eye-opening and I loved it.
Fashion for a very long time was something very exclusive to, a set of people who had the privilege to be a part of it. And now anybody could be a part of it. It's really opened up the world to everybody. It's something that everybody could be excited for.
When I was around 9, I want to say, my parents weren't in a great situation, and it was less like a split up and more like an escape. And so when we had gotten into a safe place, we had pretty much nothing. It was me and my 3 siblings, freshborn baby, and 2 elementary schoolers. And we needed everything. We had no clothes, no toys, like nothing that you would give a kid. And the first place that my grandma thought to look for, to just give us a whole new life, was to start at the thrift store.
There's better quality in items that are made previous. You can't compare the garment making quality that we had in the in the 60s and 70s and even in the 80s prior to everything going offshore to the fast fashion things that you can find now that you wear them twice and then you have to throw them away.
I think thrifting used to be like an embarrassing thing for the younger generation, but now that it's trendy, everybody loves it. Because there's no way that the younger generation just has never thrifted before. It's definitely, now that it's more trendy, it's more acceptable.
It's definitely like a Harry Potter wand situation where it chooses you rather than you choosing it. Like you might be looking for something specific, you might not find it, but you might leave with something that goes with something else in your closet or something else that you will find eventually. So it's a gamble, but that's what makes it fun.
Older styles are coming back. And also it's hard to find the older stuff in malls and like in basic retail stores. They try to recreate it, but it's not really exact. So I feel like if you know, and you have to go to the thrift store because it's just really authentic,
Thrifting has definitely gotten younger. I think at least when I was a little kid, I started noticing when I was a teenager, there's definitely a younger demographic because, kids stopped going to malls. Now they want to go thrifting. That's the new hangout spot. Nobody wants to get stuff from just Aeropostale or American Eagle. People want old skate brands that you can't necessarily find unless you're in a big city. It's not just, a family looking for a deal. It's kids actually looking for, higher scale fashion.
I remember when I was a kid, my grandma used to tell me to lie about like where I got stuff. So she would find out a lot of the time when you list things to thrift, like list things to sell online, or when you look in the right spots in the thrift store, you can find the brand of whatever it is you're purchasing. And so she would go in and clean up these old things and then tell me the name of the brand and tell me that if anybody asked me where I got it from, to just list off the name of the brand that was on the shoe. But they were thrifted. They had to come from that place.
Well, I used to go to a lot of locally owned or small business thrift stores around here, but they all closed down. So I feel like that's another problem. Maybe people are just buying more stuff at these bigger corporations and they're closing down these small businesses, which is kind of sad.
There's not a lot of stores where you can't find their whole selection online and have a better experience shopping online. The thrift store, you go in and you adventure for a little bit. You know what I mean? You're not just sitting and clicking and then going back to whatever doom scroll you were doing at the time.
There have been a lot of changes over the last several years in this business. Sad to say that they have not been for the better. I think that during COVID, a lot of people got comfortable with shopping online, and so many stores have just made it way too easy to not have to leave your house, to not have to go out and deal with the lines and, and the frustration sometimes of the large shopping experiences. So people have gotten really disillusioned with in-person thrift shopping. And unfortunately, those of us that have smaller locations, smaller brick and mortar, mom and pop, privately owned locations are getting the biggest hit out of that. And the foot traffic and just the quantity of sales has gone down considerably.
I know thrift stores that have gone out of business. They were like, it's sad because a lot of my clothes I got from there, but they closed. They can't do it, and yeah, it is because of Goodwill and Salvation Army like that. I don't know.
Brick and mortar is dead. At least it is for now. I'm not sure if there's at some point going to be a revival, but I mean, we're here, and I'm trying not to kind of dwell on it or be upset about it or be sad as hard as it is, because I poured my heart and soul into this place, and I have a lot of really amazing customers that come in and they love it here, and I love talking to them and and spending time with people and hearing their stories, but it kind of just gets to a point where you can't. Fast fashion is a poison on our nation. I always say that if something is too good to be true, or you're purchasing a product that is entirely too cheap for what it is, you are the product. I know people that have had thrift stores for 23, 24, 25 years, and inside of the last, gonna say 2 years, I personally know at least 6 people that have had to close their businesses similar to this one. And these are people that had successful businesses for so many years. So it's not like it's, oh, you were doing something wrong. They weren't doing something wrong. They were doing great until they weren't. And to not believe that fast fashion has had a giant impact on that, I think is kind of crazy.
I have mixed feelings about the fast fashion industry because yes, it does create more waste. Yes, it does harm the environment a bit more. But on the other hand, it does provide a cheap alternative for clothing for people who are less fortunate. Everybody wants to say fast fashion is bad. Fast fashion is gonna hurt the environment. We have to kind of find a middle ground where we can find a way to give cheaper clothing for less privileged people.
I hate fast fashion. Fast fashion, very low effort, quality sucks, which is like a huge thing for me. Which is why I think that thrifting is great, because a lot of old pieces are built with pretty good quality and that are still reusable to this day.
It provides the youth an option to have the clothes that they usually wouldn't be able to afford or can't find anywhere else. And definitely I've noticed a lot of people in our generation don't like new clothes in general because they just don't carry the styles that they used to.
I definitely think that places where you don't have to spend a lot of money to be there are kind of being pushed out. And I think thrift stores is one of those big ones that, like, when you meet up with a group of people your age, the first thing you think to do without spending a ton of money is probably going to be like to go to the thrift store.
I think the experience of thrifting allows also for a build of community. So it's something, for example, my sister and I can both relate to, which allowed us to, I guess, strengthen our relationship since we're not the closest.
It's something that is really needed, not only for the lower prices, but also just keeping garbage out of our landfills and also using it as a way to raise funds for charity, as many thrift stores do.
I found a fur coat for $60, a vintage fur coat from Korea. It's rabbit's fur, matches my hair color perfectly. And I got it for $60 from the thrift store. And it's gorgeous. It's my favorite thing that I own. I'm giving it to my grandkids.
I've been thrifting since 5th or 6th grade. My mom has always been a huge shopper, so I've always just gone with her, and she loves to go to thrift stores. So I do thrift without my mom. It's kind of become my own little hobby that I do without her, but it just kind of also helps me remind of like the times in like middle school that we used to do it, or after school, or on weekends. So it just kind of brings back memories.
It definitely does feel like a scavenger hunt, because you don't really know what you're looking for until you find it, and then it like clicks for you in your head, like, oh, this, like, yeah, this, or like you might not be looking for something, but you'll find something else that might complement what you're looking for. So it's just like a really cool, rewarding feeling when you finally do find something.
After I started thrifting, I rarely ever go shopping in places that aren't really thrift stores. So yeah, thrifting right now is my main source of shopping, I guess.
Me personally, it's the only option. I hardly buy things from like firsthand. I very rarely buy things firsthand.
Take the time, go to the thrift store, buy secondhand. I have stuff with tags in here all the time. It's not, oh, it's somebody's old garbage or whatever. There is stuff brand new with tags. You can find absolutely amazing things. Take the time, learn a little bit about history, appreciate, just where it came from, and, and even just a lot of where fashion came from as well, understanding those things.
And it allows you to get like down and physical with it, which is a lot of fun too, and it's literally like you're digging for gold.